Hi everybody, my name's Hannah.
And I'm Ashley, and we are students from Okanagan College in the Therapist Assistant Program.
And today we're going to be teaching you passive range of motion. Before we get started on the actual ranges of motion, we wanted to do a little bit of an introduction. And so I'm going to talk about end feels. An end feel is basically taking your joint to the end of its range, and it's the feeling that it has at the end of the range. There's three types. There's soft, firm, and hard. Soft, an example of that would be knee flexion. So the soft tissue from your thigh and from your calf touch each other at the end of the range and stop the motion. For firm, there's three subcategories. There's muscular, capsular, and ligamentous. An example of muscular would be hip abduction, going away from your body. And the adductors, adductors, stop the motion of abduction through the muscles there. Ligamentous, an example of that would be ulnar deviation. As you deviate towards your pinky, the ligaments on this side of your hand stop the range of motion. Capsular, an example would be hip internal rotation, and basically the capsule in your hip stops that range of motion at the end. And then the last category was hard, and an example of that is elbow extension. Bone on bone is the end feel there. And it's important to know these because when you're doing range of motion or passive range of motion with your clients, if they have an abnormal end feel on their elbow or their knee or their hip, that's something you need to document in documentation and also tell your therapist.
Alright, so there are three planes of motion that we will be talking about. The first one is sagittal, so it cuts your body from right to left. And the two motions in that plane are flexion and extension. The second one is frontal, so it cuts your body from front to back. And the two motions in that one are abduction and adduction. And the third one is transverse, and it cuts your body in half horizontally. And the two motions are internal and external rotation. Supine, prone, brookline, side lying,
Okay, now we're going to be doing the shoulder joint. So first up, we're going to do flexion. You're just going to support their hand and their elbow. And make sure you're moving your body as you bring it up. That's flexion. Horizontal adduction, again, supporting the wrist or holding the hand and the elbow. Go across the body. Flip your hand as you go across. Horizontal. Perfect. And then can you lie on this side? Just come a little bit closer to the bed. Good. So make sure your client isn't going to fall off. I know Isaac is steady, so this is fine. But you're going to trap their wrist or hand between your body and your arm, support their elbow, put the other hand on their shoulder, and slowly walk out. And that's extension of the arm. Make sure you're moving your body with it. Okay, you can get back on your back. And now we're going to do abduction. So I'm going to support the wrist and the elbow, and you're going to want to externally rotate as you go up. So you're walking around and slowly externally rotating to match the natural tendency your shoulder has to do that. Okay, last one, make sure you're moving your body as well. Okay, and just move over a little bit more to that side. Now we're going to do external and internal rotation. So internal rotation, you can put their arm at 90 degrees and you're just lowering down, watching for that shoulder to pop up. So I already see it there. There we go. And then external rotation, I'm just going to move him in a bit so the pillow's out of the way. But again, just watching shoulder. That's external rotation. There you go.
So now we will be doing elbow range of motion. So the first one is elbow flexion. So you can support the elbow underneath and then just gently push it to the end of range. And then elbow extension, usually everyone has full extension. Some people have hyperextension, so it'll be a motion where they'll go back. But you don't want to force that. So flexion and extension, flexion, extension. The next one is supination. So you can support the elbow and then grab their hand, and that's supination. And then you can switch hands and turn it palm down for pronation.
So the next one we're going to be doing is the wrist joint. There's 4 movements you can do here. So we're going to do flexion first. You can either have their elbow flat or up, that's okay. And you're going to put your hands supporting their hand, flexion, and you can feel the end feel there. Flexion. The next one is extension. Same thing, support with your hand, extension. Okay, and radial and ulnar deviation. So radial is towards the thumb side, and you're just gonna move it, I'll hold them like this, just gonna move it in that direction, support under the joint and above the joint. It's a very small movement. And then ulnar deviation is towards the pinky side. This one has a bigger movement, again support underneath and above. There you go, that's the wrist.
Alright, now we will be doing the hip range of motion. So the first one we'll start with is hip flexion. So you want to make sure you're supporting under the knee and also under the foot. And then you can slowly bring the leg up and make sure you can switch your hand from under when you're going up. Good job. And last one. Perfect. Alright, and then if you could go on this side for me, please. Thank you. So hip extension, you're going to want to put their leg right by your side and kind of cradle it with your arm. And then you can place your hand on their hip and then just gently move it back. And make sure you're walking with the leg. Perfect. Alright, and you can lay on your back again for me, please. Alright, and then abduction. Same thing. Cradle the leg. Move it out. And again, make sure you're walking with the leg. And always supporting under the knee as well. Perfect. And then I'll get you to bend this leg up like that. And then we're going to cross it over. So this is adduction. And then again, cradling the knee and holding the foot. And then just moving it over. Perfect. Awesome. And then the next one we'll do is internal rotation. So this one can get confusing. So when the foot goes out, that means the hip is internally rotating. And make sure your hand is on the knee and that you're also supporting the foot. So internal rotation. And then external rotation, the foot is going in. And again, holding the knee and holding the foot. There we go.
The next joint we're going to be doing is the knee joint, or the talofibular joint. First motion we're going to do is flexion, so I usually support under the thigh, bring the ankle up and push it towards the bottom of the client. Bring it back down, make sure you're supporting the knee. Bring it up, push the ankle towards the bottom of the client. Bring it back down. One more time. Good job. An extension of the knee is while they're laying flat. Some people have hyperextension, so if you bring it up, they have some motion there. The next one is internal and external rotation of the knee. So you're going to put your hands here on the two bony prominences here, and you're just going to push the ankle inward. And then the other option is external rotation. And you can feel the bones moving there. It's a very slight movement of the knee. There you have it, that's the knee. Another joint we're going to talk about is the ankle joint, and there's 4 motions here. The first one we do is dorsiflexion, which is bringing the toes towards the shin. And I just cradle the heel in my hand, and I move my entire body forward to dorsiflex. Bring it back, and lean your whole body into it so you're not straining your shoulder or your wrist. The next one is plantar flexion, so I support above the ankle, and I just push down on the feet, bring it back to neutral, push down on the feet, bring it back, push down. The last one is inversion and eversion. So again, I cradle the heel. For inversion, I just twist my arm, twist up the shoulder, invert the foot. Eversion, opposite side, again using your shoulder and your body instead of just your wrist. And that is the ankle.
Thanks so much for watching, and we hope this video helps you in your studies.
Make sure that you practice lots on your friends and family, because as you practice more, you remember the information better.
Thanks!